Welcome, Uncle Media's premier morning podcast. This is our show to kick off your morning right and help you get through your busy workday, or in this case, your morning commute, unless you're working remote or are off today. Guys, before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, and share the show with everyone so we can grow. If you like what you're hearing, let people know. Super excited. I also want to make sure I bring a shout out to Brendan Lipinski. If you saw the initial post like a month ago, he did the artwork for this. Want to thank him. It was awesome. Probably include that somehow into the whole slew of things at some point. But let's get right into it. So let's kick it off. Like I said, not every show is going to be the same. No, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Make sure you guys are listening. This is something that I like to talk about, and this is kind of one of the things that made me want to go. I'm just going to talk about everything. And I know people might get uncomfortable, but that's cool. That's why we're here. We are adults and we can talk and we have conversations. Folks, it's February. By the time you listen to this is recorded early. Nevada would have happened. The Nevada primary and caucuses would have happened for the Republican primary. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, as I'm, talking to you guys, let me see. I believe... Let's see, Nevada primary. It might be only for the Republican Party, but nope, it is for the Democrats as well. We do have the primaries going on. I think Nevada is going to be an interesting one, as you guys know. And I'm not going to tell you what to think, how to think. I'm just going to spread out information, give you a couple of thoughts. Take what I have as you will. So, we've had Iowa, very big, caucus there, very important, I don't want to say win. I want to say, I guess win. Very important race there. Same thing with New Hampshire. At this point, I think a lot of people, and, depends on where your stance is, not happy that, Donald Trump is leading in the polls in the primaries right now. Some people want Nikki Haley. I have my reservations. Telling you right now, I'm holding a very anti-war stance this year. So the whole idea of going over, and again, we can have this conversation. You can tell me what you think. The whole idea of us going to war and sending more money and more troops, and I'm so against that. We have a lot of things going on here, with inflation, with reckless spend. I mean, that all goes in hand. And I think the military-industrial complex is a big part of that. It's increased the inflation. It's increased, the spending. And that's kind of not what I'm here for. But very curious about what's going to happen over in Nevada. So here's some interesting stats. We had Iowa. Donald Trump won Iowa by a big margin. What I find fascinating about these two first states, I think, are very, the signs are telling. The way he won Iowa, what is it, 52% or something like that. No nominee since 2000. So I believe George Bush has won Iowa and won the nomination and the president. Well, the nomination, you need the nomination to become president. So I thought that was fascinating. So I'm like, okay, well, however, on the flip side, whoever's won New Hampshire since I think 2000 or like 2004 or 2008, or it might be further back. New Hampshire's been a player. Whoever's won New Hampshire has won the nomination for at least, I think, like 30 years for the Republican Party. Pretty interesting statistic. So when you take those two things and you see that the winner of Iowa is also winner of New Hampshire, we've seen a couple of a trend is breaking, and nobody's won Iowa and New Hampshire together in a while. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. And we're excluding like re-elections. We're excluding 2020. We're excluding 2004. For the Democrats, same thing. I think 2012. Same thing with this year for 24 for the Democrats. Joe Biden's probably going to win all of those. So we get to Nevada. Nevada's interesting because there is a primary and a caucus. So as you know, the primaries, you go to the polls, you vote. The caucus is more like meetings, and like the meetings happen and then within an hour or 2 hours they'll have results. What's interesting, I think Nevada was one of the states, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nevada was one of the states where we saw where they were going to pull Trump off the ballot. So they decided, the party itself, it's like, we're not doing a primary then. Everything's going to go via caucus. So by the time this drops, the primary has happened. But the primary doesn't mean anything anymore. Nevada law states they should, but because Trump isn't there, they've decided we're going caucus-wise. And I think everybody, not everybody, I think what's the word I'm looking for here? Delegate. I think every delegate is going to go to the winner. I could be wrong on that. It could be allocated by, voting percentage. But I think Nevada is one of the first ones that's going to go to everybody. Curious, I think I know what this is going in 2004? No, 2020. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, okay. So the polling currently has Trump at 75%. I think he's winning Nevada, hands down. I wouldn't be surprised if people wrote him in for the primary as well. Really establish, get Nikki Haley out of the running there. Most recent poll, yeah. I think we have, this is from December. I'd like to see what a more recent polling has. That is from McLaughlin and Associates from the 13th. I would like to see something more accurate. Recent. I mean, by the time he's going to win Nevada, regardless. What'll be interesting to see is if he wins it in in November. In 24, in the general, sorry, in 20 in the general, he lost by I think 3 percentage points. It was like 50.06 to 47.67. Now, let's see what we're looking at in 2016. As I scroll and I look, 2016. It looks like he won. No, he still lost by 2 points. Like the margin was great in 2020, but not by much. Not by much. So I want to bring this up. Why? Again, I find this stuff kind of fascinating. To me, I think 2024. A lot of people always say, "Hey, this is the most important election of your lifetime. You need to vote." I'm not going to say it's not the most important, but I will quote comic Dave Smith here. It's going to be the most interesting. 2024 is going to be the most interesting. We got a lot of different statistics going on. Like this is, Trump, obviously, I think he's going to get the nomination. He wins the nomination. It's going to be the first rematch, I think, since 1956. I think 56 against Truman, and I forgot, not Truman, Eisenhower. Should have had all this pulled up. But you know what, guys? That's why. You're sitting in your car. You're commuting. You just listened to me rant this morning. So it'll be the first rematch, I think. Adlai Stevenson, is that right? Yeah. So 52 and 56 had back-to-back rematches. This will be the first rematch since is that almost 70 years, 68 years? And then if Trump wins, you're looking at the first split presidency since Grover Cleveland in the 1870s, 1880s. Really fascinating. Really fascinating. I find this information all incredible. Absolutely incredible. Um, I think South Carolina is going to be a big telling. That's Nikki Haley's home state. They were pushing her in New Hampshire so hard, and she still lost. But it sounds like she might lose even bigger in her home state, which she wants to. She's going to hang out. I think she's an establishment candidate. I won't really get into. Again, war hawk wants to go to war, wants to spend more money. Ukraine, Israel, Iran, you name it. More money, more guns, more death. Absolutely not what I'm aiming for. Also want to bring to light, I believe RFK. I don't. He's obviously doesn't have to run a primary. I don't know his status in Nevada. I don't know where he stands right now with. It's the word I'm looking for here. With get registered, I believe independents have to register in each state, which has been a big problem since. I think since '92, since Perot. Because Perot took quite a big chunk out of the two-party system. So I think he has to. I know the Libertarian Party, they also have a candidate. They have a few candidates right now that are running. They're running their primaries. I'm trying to follow it. It's a little difficult to follow unless you're like really ingrained within them. So if I can find more information on that. I know Chase Oliver, I think, won New Hampshire. And then the Green Party. Green Party's there. Always been there. They're doing their thing. Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson, also two candidates who are trying to, mix things up right now. Try to be like, hey, we have other people running too, to challenge Joe Biden. And again, the media's not having it. You know how that media works. Now we're talking about RFK Jr. Where is Homeboy? Homeboy. Polling. That's kind of what we want, right? Yeah, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, RFK. So right now, through the 24th of January, dates updated January 31st, 24, they're averaging Joe Biden 36.7, Trump 38.7, and Robert Kennedy 12.2%, with 12.4 still not undecided, which is a huge number. Huge number. Whether, will he pull more? He might. He might if he can get into the right states. Again, we haven't seen an independent this one. We could talk Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson was trying to pull the 5% for the Libertarian Party. That was cool. I wish he had pulled. Everyone wishes he pulled more. I think it's like 5%. I think you get like federal funding, but they won't let that happen. Because it's a two-party system. But really interesting race coming up. Looking forward to it. Like I said, we got Nevada this week. I think in 2 weeks on the 23rd, we do have South Carolina. And then week or two after that, we're looking at Super Tuesday. A lot coming up, guys. Hey, guys, if you don't already do so, please make sure you like, subscribe, follow me on as the SOB official on X. You can follow Bedlam Media. This is where all this will be posted. YouTube, Facebook, and X as well. Don't forget to follow my wrestling show, Above the Ring, with Scott and the Man in Black, Ethan himself. Like I said, make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tell people why Bedlam Media and Uncle Sam's Static Kaleidoscope is the podcast of you choosing, why they should listen to us as well. Again, thank you so much for listening, guys. And as always, do not forget to join the Bedlam.